Sir, our journey from television experiments in 1975 to NISAR today and future human space missions are certainly a remarkable achievement, sir. And you have also guided that very organization. And thank you very much for your wonderful insight, sir. Dear friends, now we have come to that very juncture where we are given a chance to ask our own questions. Now the interactive session begins. Our volunteers will come with mics, so anybody who is interested to ask any question to AS Kiran Kumar sir can please raise your hands, and one by one we are going to provide the opportunity. Sure.
Namaste sir, I am Ritvik Shastri. I am from Jain College and I am studying in Humanities. Thank you for your wonderful speech, it was really nice. I actually have two questions. When we speak about space, I feel as much as we speak of science, we also speak of geopolitics. So I just wanted to ask, when we look at space, should we look at more collaboration with other countries where we get the best of qualities from everyone, or should we focus on being self-reliant because of this volatile geopolitical condition? And just a follow-up question to that is, one thing that is seriously commendable and the whole world looks at India is how cost-effective ISRO missions are. So when we look at the Mangalyaan missions and we compare it to Hollywood movies like Martian, in half of its cost, we actually went to space and came back. So my question is, how do we do it? How do we do it so cost efficiently? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, coming to your first question, it is nothing to do with space per se. It is a human nature in anything. See what happens, any new skill or capability you have, there are people who are looking at how this capability can be translated into your dominance and your, you can say, a way of gaining ascendancy over others. Now humanity has been doing it right from early times, but then it is only who are competent or who are capable of doing things can they talk to each other. Otherwise, if you do not build a capability, there is no question of even talking with you. You will be taken as, okay, also ran. So the point what you are talking about is space. If you look at space, is considered as the common heritage of humanity as per United Nations. That means space should not be used for military purposes, etc., etc. These are all ingrained in UN activities. But then reality is what? Reality is might is right. So unless you are competent and capable, you are not in a position to influence what happens. So even if you want to make sure that others do not do something harmful, you should be at least equal to them to tell, if you are doing this, I can also do it, then only they will listen to you. So that is the way things work in reality. But otherwise, on purely idealistic principles, what you say is correct. The space is the common heritage of humanity. All of us should work together and then make the best use of our capability. This also happens to a large extent, because even today, like there is a United Nations entities where countries are working together to provide information about Earth. See, even NISR, India and America is working together to provide this information for the benefit of life on Earth for the entire globe. So both of us have pooled our resources. Similarly, large number of countries are doing it for many meteorological observation, Earth observation. This also happens, but then this happens at a level slightly different from the other real geopolitics. And then coming to your other question, see two things that happen. One is, as your society becomes more advanced and advanced, the way the whole activity happens, they get in a way regulated. That means how many hours should you work, what is your work balance, homework balance, etc., etc. Then many rules come into operation. So if you go to more Western countries, you will see you have to take permission to do extra hours of operation. So they are actually discouraged. So then what happens? if you are doing an activity which is 24/7, and if you have a restriction of how many hours an individual can work, what could have been done by one person, what happens here, we are ready to work 24/7 because we want to build, we are struggling. Whereas in same thing in the other place, what one person does here may be required to be done by 3 persons, and it adds to both cost as well as time of doing. And then time again adds to cost. In fact, it is many of these things which result in what you said, cost of an activity becoming much higher. Because otherwise, the material and those kinds of things cannot be very different.
Thank you so much, sir. Can we also attribute it to how Indians usually think, as in we are very cost effective by nature? The whole concept of, jugaad and other stuff like that. So can we also attribute it to that?
Yeah, no, we can attribute it to everything that an Indian has in value system, readiness to sacrifice his own requirements for something else. So all that, what I was trying to tell is the same ability is actually translating it to less people completing the task. And another thing also that's happening is, if you take probably in the Western world, what a technician does, the same job is being done by an engineer here, again because of the competition. Here more availability of engineers are there in comparison to technician because of, you can say, less posts available. But what it does is, an engineer knows how to solve the problem. He can solve the problem as soon as he encounters. Whereas in the other place, technician simply reports the problem and writes it. Next person who takes, he actually gives it to a committee. That committee finds the solution. That comes back. Technician simply implements. There is a whole time. I did not go into all that elaboration, but that is the part.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. So one more question from this side, if anyone.
Good morning, sir. I am Bharat Bri from SRPUC. I have a simple question. Do you believe in aliens?
Now, the question is belief. When do you need to believe? Can you think of that? When is the need for belief coming? No, if you have solid evidence, then already evidence is there. There is no need to believe.
So you believe in aliens, sir?
No, I am not telling you that. I am asking you a question. The very idea of belief, do you believe you have a hand or you have a hand?
Both, sir. I believe I have a hand and I have a hand.
Now you see, do you need to believe or you are aware and you are sure that you have a hand?
Yeah, I'm sure I have a hand.
Yeah, same way, the need for belief comes when you do not know.
So you are not sure about it, so you...
Unless it is demonstrated by reproducible evidence, science doesn't accept.
But according to the Kepler project information, there are almost 260 planets, 260 stars, which all host a planet. At least if we consider it as a one planet.
Okay, there are millions like that. Go ahead.
And according to the same Kepler information, almost 20 sextillion planets are habitable, and also in the habitable zone contains water and all the atmosphere and other things for life sustainable. So there are evidence that aliens can be there.
No, what is there is evidence planets are there which are similar to Earth-like, etc. But now whether life in the form we are aware is present there or not still needs validation, isn't it?
Okay, in some more years we'll get to know.
That's what humanity is trying to do, is that only. Try to build newer and newer observation capabilities, tools which can help them confirm whether there are forms of life which, as we are aware, whether they exist. There may be other forms of life which are existing, which we may not be aware today. Maybe you will be able to find out. In fact, this is the real key thing. The human system is such that it is very curious about nature. It wants to find out. But it is only those who retain that curiosity and keep searching for the answers who will come up with new answers. See, for example, Sir C.V. Raman, if you have heard, he was actually looking at why is sky blue. Nobody else could give him the answer. but he himself found the answer and told the world. Same way, if you are obsessed with the idea of aliens, then maybe you will do something during the course of your life to show whether it exists or doesn't exist.
My best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. This is Virendra here. Today we have got a lot of information from you. Thank you for that one. I have one question. In the Chandrayaan project, I mean, other countries have launched the rocket directly to the moon, but in our Indian, I mean, we have launched the rocket through orbiting the Earth towards the moon. So I wanted to know that what kind of technology we have used.
Yeah, you can see basically it's a question of your capability. Now, if you want to reach moon, which is about 384,000 kilometers away, then whatever object you want to put it there, you need to release it from Earth, giving it a right velocity and right direction. Now, if you want to give that much energy to that object, you need a rocket which is much more capable in terms of its thrust. What we had were launch vehicles which were primarily built for, let's say, geostationary orbit satellites. But then, how can we make use of this capability to reach moon is the process we were looking at. So you can visualize when an object is going around any planetary body, it can be in three types of orbits. Circular orbit, that means there is a critical velocity for a height. If it is at that critical velocity, it is in the circular orbit. If the velocity is less, it will go into an elliptical orbit with the point of release becoming apogee. If it is more than the critical velocity, the point of release becomes perigee, other side becomes the apogee. But then, when you are in such an elliptical orbit, every time the satellite is at perigee, you add a small velocity to it by firing an engine. Then you can make your farther point go further and further. So now you see, the launch vehicle had a limited capability to put a satellite into an elliptical orbit. Then using the satellite's engine capability, we started adding velocity to that satellite so that progressively we increased the apogee point from 20,000 to 40,000, 70,000, 1 lakh, and finally we had to reach 384,000 kilometers. So it is in a way, this technology, you can say, is something called leapfrogging. What is that? See, if you have to do a high jump, there is a bar set. If you want to cross that bar, you have to provide sufficient energy for you to jump. If the space is limited, it is difficult. So normally what you do is, you run over a long distance, build up momentum, and with that enhanced momentum, you are able to take a jump. But if the problem is even that much space is not available to you, what do? You need what is called as what a frog does. Frog conserves all its energy, and in one jump, it tries to reach a great height. So what ISRO did also was using this concept of adding small values at perigee and going further and further. In fact, this is the concept we have used for Chandrayaan mission, Mars mission, even Aditya mission. So it helps you to perform with a launch vehicle with a limited capability. Whereas others you mentioned have launch vehicles which can put huge amount of mass into space. Their launch vehicle engines are much more powerful. So this is the difference. We wanted to do it within our resources before we built our own launch vehicles with such capability. But tomorrow when we want to put man on moon, we need launch vehicles with much bigger capability. We have now started working on that, next generation and lunar launch vehicles, etc. So we are building that capability step by step. But we are not waiting for that to happen for the first activity. We have already demonstrated many of them. This is another thing you need to look at. You should not wait for what you want to achieve for doing things in a sequential order. That means you do first step, second step. If many things can be done parallelly and combined, you can achieve faster. This is the other concept which ISRO has adopted, and this is also, you can call it as in many ways leapfrogging. That means making all the technological tools available to you, whether your own or from others, and then demonstrate and move ahead. So this particular thing is like a resonance. You know, for example, even a swing, when a push a person in the swing, if you want the person to go more into the swing, you will push at a specific point when it reaches. If you try to push it at the wrong time, your energy is wasted. By adding small energy, you can achieve great pendulum swings. Same way in the launch vehicle also, when it is limited, we have used in Chandra, like I said, Chandrayaan mission, Mars mission, Aditya, etc., using that capability.
So much.
Thank you very much, sir. So we will get back to the audience, just a minute. We'll get back to the audience if the time permits. Sir, our members of Vivekananda Yuvaka Sangha have a question. When you look back at India's journey from Aryabhatta to Chandrayaan 3, what do you feel has been the single biggest turning point in our Indian space history?
Single turning point, it's all the time actually trying to move ahead. You are going, probably I would put it in this way. See, at any given point of time, what you want to do, if you are limiting it to your current skill set and capability, you cannot go far. Because what you have already learned can do only take you to a certain level. But if you want to go beyond that, you all the time need to make sure that you stretch yourself, build newer skills, newer capabilities, then only you can achieve more and more. So if you see starting point, we wanted to get into space to provide the broadcasting, communication, and then weather monitoring, etc. When by the time you do that, you also find there are many other problems. And then even for solving that problem, you need to do improve efficiency. So like that, if you see, it's a constant effort of building on what you have up to now and stretching yourself and going to the next level and then moving ahead is the real thing. So I would rather not say, but there is one constant driving force in all this. How to make use of the space technology for the country's benefit. That has been the key driver. And in spite of failures, ISRO has retained this particular direction, and now it is looking ahead to make country well versed with space technology usage for all aspects of life, both on Earth and outside, and also both on your desire to know what is happening in the universe.
Thank you very much, sir. So there's one more small question. This is regarding, if you had to set one bold moonshot goal for India by 2047, 100 years from independence, what would it be?
I would say make use of the space technology for ensuring living on planet Earth is assured and you are not damaging survivability of life on planet Earth, and keep exploring the universe.
Thank you very much. We can just take one more other two questions. So we're fine.
So what my question is, as we are advancing in the field of space science, but we are missing at one thing, what are the measures taken by ISRO to overcome space debris? That is very crucial right now, that could trap us on Earth. So that needs to be taken care of. So what are the measures taken?
Repeat what exactly is the question?
Sir, what are the measures taken by ISRO to overcome space debris, which will be crucial for us in our future missions?
Now, space debris, if you look at the problem itself, initially the human desire is to build a capability of going into space and doing activity. But then as you keep doing more and more of this, today what is happening, there are companies which are trying to build 42,000 satellite constellation to provide on your mobile internet connectivity across the globe. The numbers are increasing. So, but the problem is when these numbers start increasing, there is also a desire to make sure that the activity is sustainable. Now space sustainability, space traffic management and debris are all becoming issues. So what is happening? There are companies which are now trying to set up mechanisms where they can pick up non-functional satellite, debris removal, and not only that, waste to wealth. like what we talk about here, we dump lot of waste, how to convert waste to wealth. There are companies which are actually retrieving this, taking out parts which are functioning and making it available for repairing other objects in space. So it is a natural growth of events. Those space debris, when it becomes really problematic, there will be very ingenious individuals who will come up with enterprises to convert it into a economically viable activity and come up with systems. So already there are companies which are trying to look at space providing refueling capability, rectifying, repairing in space. Not only repairing, even many other things also are there. You can imagine what all can be done. But then these are step by step. See, when there was no good road, there was no use of cars. But when roads came, cars multiplied. Same way, here your technological capability of going to space showed it can be done. So now human endeavors are going. There are a large number of companies which are coming up with space tourism, space adventure, space exploitation, space habitation. So all this is becoming entrepreneurial. So it feeds, one thing feeds to the other. It creates new problems and it creates opportunities for new solutions.
Thank you, sir. So one over there who had already called.
Firstly, thank you for such a wonderful talk on space. I'm Janvi, an AIML engineering graduate. So I'm curious about the intersection of AI and space technology. So my question to you is, how do you envision the interaction of AI into space technology and exploration? And what potential breakthroughs or advancements can we expect from integrating AI into space missions?
Anyway, it's a very detailed, it requires a detailed answer. But anyway, I'll attempt. See, today when we are building probes which are going to Moon, Mars, etc., what are we really doing? We are building a gadget which has got some sensing elements, it has got some input taking mechanism, and it has some actuators using which it can perform. If you take a land rover, for example, it has wheels to move, and then it has got some cameras, it takes pictures, and then it navigates its position. That means progressively you are building some intelligence into that probe. You want that probe to do some functions there. So tomorrow when we want to send man on moon, etc., we want to make sure that we provide appropriate environment for that individual to survive that environment. So obviously you need to learn about that environment. So today what we are doing is building gadgets to the best of our design capability, put some features in that and make it work. So my robot there has basically sensors, actuators, one controller which is capable of giving instructions to the actuator. I store all the instructions in one memory. And whenever a sensory input comes, depending on that input, the controller picks the instructions from the memory and passes it to the actuator for doing the job. But many times I am not fully aware of whatever the object activity it is doing, whether it is within the limits of its capability or not. So I am now forced to build some features which says if the object which it is, activity which it is doing is within its limit. For example, I have designed it to lift an object. The robot does not know what it is lifting is within its limit or not. It simply follows instructions and tries to do. If it is much beyond, it might break its arm. So I will now start thinking, somehow I should make this system realize what it is doing is within its limit. Otherwise what happens, if it gets destroyed, I have to rebuild that platform, transport it from Earth and make it go there. And next time also when it is doing the same function, since I do not know what is the problem, it might fail in the same way, called as generic failure. So you have no solution. So now you start thinking, can I put some features in the system where it can start learning on its own how to deal with problems and then how to preserve itself, like fail-safe design. What is a fail-safe design? When it is going something beyond its limit, instead of doing the activity, it reports back to you saying that it is outside my operating limits. That means now you see you're slowly building intelligence into that. Otherwise, if you take this robotic system, it has these 5 elements: sensors, actuators, controller, one memory for external function, another memory for self-preservation, self-protection. Now, actually, I want to use your question to bring another aspect to life in the terms of human development. Suppose I ask you, can you map all these 5 functions to yourself? Do you see, is there any equivalence? Does human system also have these 5 elements? Sensors, actuators, controller, 2 types of memory. You think yes? Can you identify? Yes, you have 5 gnanendriyas. Then? Yeah, can you, maybe somebody give the
We have 5 sensory organs, and for to movement we have our arms, our legs, to do motion and all. And to think, we already have the ability.
Brain is, I would not treat brain as that way. It will be your controller, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
More appropriate is controller, no? Brain function.
Yes, sir.
So sensors, correct, 5 gnanendriyas. You are supposed to be having 5 karmendriyas. 2 you said, hands and legs. Can you think of the third, remaining 3? Anybody else also okay? We are supposed to be having 5 karmendriyas, using which this platform does its external function as a robot. Anybody want to take a chance? Voice generation. Mouth is also one part of it. So how do you communicate external activity you are doing?
Through
Your
our vocals.
voice generation system. Similarly, you also have 2 more organs for throwing out things toxic from the body. So you have karmendriyas, gnanendriyas, then one controller. Brain is one significant portion of that. Maybe many more things are there, but for the time being, we'll take it as brain. So your ability to deal with the world comes from getting inputs from your sensor, your controller interpreting that, generating instructions for operating its actuators, and surviving. But you also have, in one memory, you keep storing all your learnings and use it for subsequent operation. Similarly, in one memory, you have some instructions which might have come to you by the very birth process, which is actually telling you self-preservation, self-protection mechanisms are there. Anyway, I'll not go too much into detail, but I'll take your question further. So if you look at human system, how has the human system evolved from child to till we are today? Can I say the controller which is running this human system is operating with the premise, take all the sensory inputs, learn how people are behaving, inculcate the same behavior and reproduce those actions by generating appropriate command within you and evolve yourself. That means your controller has one design driver which says mimic what is happening around you and evolve yourself. Today, when we send a robot to space, we are now trying to do a similar thing. What we see in human system, we are trying to reproduce that. That means our asli intelligence, we are trying to reproduce as machine learning, artificial intelligence. You are going step by step. How this is happening? Initially, human beings started enhancing his physical capability, because at that time, whatever physical work he is doing required enormous strength, etc. No? So he decided to build tools, simple tools, mechanical tools, reduced his physical labor. Very soon, he realized that lot of intellectual activity he does can be given to a machine. Now he started building calculators. Today he has come up with systems which can actually do whole lot of thinking and repetitive computations, etc. in computer system. And because the speed at which it can do is much more than the human response system sometime, you are seeing some advantages of using that technology. But basically the point is, you are trying to build a technological capability in a device which you are sending across to space to make it learn by its own experience how to evolve. That means today, its the evolution limit is within the actuators what you have built. Suppose this solution it has found requires 100 kg lifting capability. I have put only 20 kg. It will only tell me unless you build a new design system and send with 100 kg, it cannot do the job. But at least now I know my new system needs to have this capability. So this robot is doing this process of learning things on its own. What humanity has done right from early times is this of trying to mimic what is happening in nature and enhance his own or her own capability and evolving. So all of us in a way are endowed with these 5 elements: earthly intelligence, 5 sensors, 5 actuators, 1 memory which we keep on building up as part of our own existence, another memory which has come to us by the very birth process, which what it contains, how our controller uses it, many times we do not know. But like in any factory setting, it has got many things known to it. So it can take care of this platform many times even without our knowledge, and it keeps it intact. Like I said, fail-safe mechanism, etc. So if you think on these lines, you will be able to find what are the things we are trying to do. I'll just give you one more example. Suppose you look at your own eye. Can you see at night? But you know there are other life forms which can see at night. So what did humans do? They created gadgets which can look at nature in other wavelengths, like infrared, radars, or even sonars, X-ray. That means human limitation of taking inputs is being enhanced by building tools. And then you could walk only few kilometers an hour. He started riding animals. He saw birds flying. Today he has built planes. So like that. That means, can I say, human system is all the time trying to evolve itself by getting inspiration from nature and seeing how things are happening in nature, and step by step building, making it a reality on the basis of technological tools which have come up to now. Today we have hit the limits of digital technology. We are already going into quantum. But all these quantum things are happening in nature, isn't it? So now coming back to your question, where it will head will be answered by yourself if you can think of what are the design drivers on the basis of which your earthly intelligence is operating. How much of it you are bringing into reality, and how what you are aware of you are making use of. There is absolutely no limit. The limit, it's a limitless. Human being will try to expand using his knowledge. Today he is talking about going to other planets, etc. Today our knowledge is inadequate. Quantum computers, once it becomes a reality, what human being can do, we don't know. But then if you compare to what you are doing today with those who are 100 years earlier or 1,000 years earlier, you see it's a phenomenal difference. So it's a relentless journey of a primary design driver operating in humans, which says, look around in nature, evolve yourself.
Thank you so much, sir. So, apologies, due to paucity of time, we'll be ending the audience round. Sir, this interactive session would be ended with the last question. This is the last one. Okay. There's one question, sir. There's one man who constantly keeps on speaking about colonizing the Mars, who speaks. My question is, sir, do you see the future of human civilization, not just on Earth, but also on Mars? Do you think that governments, state must pursue such a policy? Is it feasible? Thank you, sir.
Okay, now here again, coming back to what I was trying to answer. What is it that is driving humans? See, somebody said he wanted to climb Mount Everest just because it is there. So now same way, there are people now who are looking at, because Mars is there, I want to go to Mars. That is one. Another thing also, if you look at purely from science and technology perspective, is our solar system going to survive eternally? There is a finite life. Though it may be billions of years, there is a finiteness in that. So should you be prepared for going beyond that, or should you condemn yourself to extinction without doing anything? On this depends the answer to your question. So step by step you will do. The very first human being, when he wanted to survive on this planet Earth, other animals were much stronger than him. He had to fight, no? If at that time he looked around, picked up a stone, he started protecting himself. Now, in this process, he has built so many capabilities, not only protection, living with some comfort, but then there are also those who start looking at beyond today. So those who are looking at beyond today can think, I should do something today for it to happen. Like even if it's a small drop, it builds up. That's what is the basic thing. So here also when somebody says, I want humanity to become a multi-planetary species, what is the thought process behind that? At some point of time, life on Earth may not be feasible. So if by that time you have not found an alternate, who is at fault? So that is the thought process. But then there are no ends to this question. See, the vast, like somebody was telling, the universe is so vast. Every new device you build, every new gadget you build, it is like opening one window. Once you open that window, another big horizon is there. So you have opened the opportunity for a whole lot of them to strive, come up to the next level. By the time they reach there, like today, quantum technology, quantum computer will come. Quantum computer will give you modeling capability, which is much more. But then in all of that, what we need to remember is we are the explorers of this universe. Human system. What is human system equipped with? Should you not explore that? That is where what this land has done is very different from the rest. If you keep looking only outwards and then keep exploring, you will keep going like this. But whether the same exploration, if you look inward, do you find the answer to everything within that is another question. So now what you pursue depends on what perspective you have. And what perspective you have depends on how much of your asli intelligence you are bringing into reality. Maybe I'll just put one more thing into perspective and bring this. See, today we are all familiar with a mobile. What is a mobile doing? If I ask you the question, what would you answer? A mobile which you are carrying, what is that mobile doing? In the same environment, there is a whole lot of information. This mobile is able to pick up that, decode, decrypt, convert it into an audio and video and show it to you. Can I say the mobile is trying to please you? Because whatever it does is for helping the owner of that mobile. Who is the owner of that mobile? The SIM card. Not you physically. It's the SIM which you have put. Suppose in your mobile, I remove that SIM and put my SIM. Same mobile will work for me, isn't it? So that means the mobile as an entity which is capable of picking signals from around, whatever is present in this universe, decode it, decrypt it, and make it available to you, is doing that job. All its capabilities are intact, but if I remove the SIM, I am removing the identity of that mobile. If I give it a new identity, that mobile takes that identity and starts pleasing that identity. You get the point there. Okay, now I'll give you another simple example. Have you learnt cycling? Before cycling, how easy was it? Yeah, you can tell it was a very difficult thing. Same way driving. Okay. After you have learnt that, you as a system can do that activity of riding the cycle and driving the vehicle without your conscious effort. It's like in an aircraft, you sit in the aircraft, there is a pilot, but the vehicle can be run in an autopilot mode. The plane can go from Bangalore to Delhi or wherever without pilot doing anything. That means the entire system has been built in such a way. Aircraft also has sensors, its height, speed measuring, so many things. It also has a computer processor. The entire program of autopilot is done in such a way that it takes sensory inputs, gives commands to its actuator like engine, rudder, etc., and transports the vehicle from place A to place B. Pilot is not doing anything. Autopilot is doing everything. Same way can we think cycling and driving became autopilot mode of operation within us. Then who is the pilot in you? What is that pilot doing? Now you start linking it to SIM and your mobile. if we are the mobile of a production line which is coming from a particular, we enter this world with some factory settings, and if we decide, we can change those settings and make this system perform better. Like you can change the settings in the mobile and give you more features for your operation. If you do not exercise that, that mobile works only with the factory setting. Same way, are you also operating with a factory setting only, or you are learning new skills, new capabilities, and enhancing your capability? So now you see the linkage. Okay, I would like you to think about it further and see what happens.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this interactive session was very enlightening. From cost efficiency to colonizing Mars, all our questions were answered. Now, I call upon Brahmachari Abhiram Maharaj to render the vote of thanks.
My reverential pranams to Srimad Swami Atmavidananji, Swami Nityasthananji, and all the other senior monks, and my respectful namaskars to our distinguished guest and my dear students. It is a profound honor to stand before you today and extend our heartfelt gratitude to Padma Shri A.S. Kumar, former Chairman ISRO, for his insightful address and his interaction with the students. His leadership and indeed the entire journey of ISRO resonate deeply with the vision of an ideal organization and an ideal leader as articulated by Swami Vivekananda. As we know, Swamiji emphasized organization, discipline, and self-reliance. He asserted that no great cause can succeed without an organization. He insisted on practical work, unity of purpose, fearlessness, and the courage to learn from errors, some of the principles that are woven into ISRO's very fabric. From the humble beginnings under Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who saw space as a means of serving the poorest of our people, to the present day, ISRO has shown us how national development and scientific exploration can walk hand in hand. As we reflect on India's space odyssey, I'm also reminded of a profound mantra from the earliest Veda, the Rig Veda. It goes like this: Katyagnayaha, Kati Suryasaha, Katyushasaha, Katyusvid Apaha. Nopaspijam vah pitaro vadami, Pruchami vah kavayo vidmane kam. It translates to, how many are the fires and suns in number? What is the number of dawns and waters? Not jestingly, I speak to you, O fathers. Sages, I ask you in order to know the truth. So this spirit of wonder, humility, and inquiry is at the heart of both the Vedic rishis and our modern scientists. The questions they pondered regarding the cosmos, its creation, and the forces that sustain life still echo today in our rockets, satellites, and telescopes that dare to peer into the infinite. ISRO's journey shows us that our civilization has always combined cosmic curiosity with human service. Shri Kiran Kumar, your work and the work of ISRO continue to be an inspiration, demonstrating how a nation can rise through collective will, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge for the betterment of humanity, echoing Swamiji's timeless ideals. On behalf of everyone here, I extend my deepest gratitude to you for your illuminating words. Thank you, sir, for inspiring us with your experiences and insights on India's remarkable journey in space. I also thank the organizers, especially Shri Jagdish Babu sir, Sandeep Vasishta, and all the volunteers of our MUT for their tireless efforts, and to all of you, the audience, for your presence and engagement. May we continue to draw inspiration from both our ancient wisdom and our modern achievements as we too strive to reach for the stars, for our own stars. So thank you. I now call upon Swami Nityasthananji Maharaj to hand over a memento to our distinguished guest. Last but very far from the least, I also want to thank all the colleges and students and their teachers for making this program a success. Thank you.
प्रियतां पुण्डरीकाक्षः सर्वयज्ञेश्वरो हरिः तस्मिन् सृष्टे जगत्तुष्टं प्रीणिते प्रीणितं जगत् हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय। जय श्री महामाई की जय। जय श्री स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय।